Hey guys, Crypto Sunday, and it's another green week, up about 4.5%, £10,000, very nice. Quite a bit of news going on, so let's have a look. So I think it'd kind of be nice to put this to bed, really. I'm sort of tired of hearing about it, but it's the end of Sam Bankman-Fried from the looks of it. He's been found guilty of all seven criminal charges. I believe there's more to come early next year as well. But if he sort of is put away for up to the maximum of 115 years, then it's not really going to matter. Would have thought, he won't actually get that. There'll be some sort of arguments and, that could come down a bit, but it's looking like he could potentially die in prison, same as Bernie Madoff. This was a sort of a bigger fraud than that in monetary terms, of course, sort of whether you adjust that for inflation, but yeah, very interesting. We sort of thought he might be able to get away with this, but his sort of lieutenants, if you like, Caroline and Gary Wang, sort of basically threw him under the bus from the beginning. Be interesting to see what they get for sort of doing the deal. Caroline Ellison was obviously the one actually taking the money and sort of spending it at Alameda Research, so she was well aware of what was happening. If you plead guilty straight away, is that better? But yeah, whether she gets sort of 5 years or something, we'll have to see. And the U.S. attorney, sort of basically came out and said we're coming after everyone. So people are sort of speculating that Binance is going to be attacked, basically. UK as well, pushing on with their first sort of proper legislation. They're sort of saying it's the first set of rules to regulate the crypto sector. I mean, they have sort of already had a certain amount of rules sort of governed for a while. They bring it under capital gains tax rules and sort of various things. They've introduced guidance on staking and sort of all sorts of things, really. So I wouldn't call it their first set of rules to regulate the crypto sector, but this is more of a sort of comprehensive overview. They're saying the rules draw lessons from the FTX collapse, so they've updated their previous regulations sort of since what has happened, and they're sort of saying this covers operating a trading platform, swapping crypto assets for other currencies, arranging investments and lending, and safekeeping and custody. So that's quite broad and very good. They're also saying it's broadly in line with the EU's MiCA regulations. So, yeah, interesting. That sort of came out in June and was seen as a big positive. So if they can rush that through and sort of be in line with them, then that would mean the whole of Europe is sort of ahead of the US, basically. Going for stable coins as well, regulating stable coins, and yeah, how to set out regulations for how to manage the failure of a major stable coin. So they're already speculating on these sort of going under. No surprise, I guess. There's been sort of rumblings about to whether Tether has enough reserves and that sort of thing for sort of 10 years nearly. So yeah, worried about the failure of those, especially considering they have government bonds in them. So yeah, interesting. This seems fairly potentially bullish news. We had Javier Milei in the presidential race for Argentina, and it was looking like there were sort of two other candidates that weren't very pro crypto at all. And yeah, there's also now Sergio Massa, who seems to be sort of fairly pro crypto, and we kind of thought that these candidates would be just sort of on the ballot basically and able to talk about crypto, but that they wouldn't get in, sort of similar to the US really, in that Biden and Trump aren't particularly pro crypto at all, but you do have a lot of other candidates that are, and at least it may be talked about. But Argentina, these are now the two remaining candidates, so it's basically almost guaranteed that the next president will be very pro-crypto. And as they say, Argentina is 20 times bigger than the economy of El Salvador. So whether they make it legal tender and, sort of go all in, they do have an enormous inflation problem. I think they're at sort of 125% for the year. So that's horrendous. But yeah, see what happens when this sort of comes to pass, whichever one gets in, and if they introduce anything. And the Masari report for Cardano is out. Yeah, let's have a look at that. Some interesting sort of numbers coming out from them. A little bit similar to Solana, really. I don't really look at the price too much. That's gone up since this report. This is the end of September. So yeah, we're up a little bit since then, but not sure whether these sort of daily active address numbers would have come up sort of since the price and enthusiasm has sort of come back a little bit, but if it hasn't, that's not particularly good. Daily active addresses down 29%. That's rather a lot. Transactions down 12%, so the people that are there are maybe sort of using it a little bit more. Active stake down 9%. That's in USD value, so the obviously the token prices came down in Q3, so that's not really a huge issue. That's basically in line with the 9.5% drop in price. Total value locked in dollars is flat, so that essentially means in Cardano value that is actually up. I'm sure we'll see that in a bit. Daily DApp transactions down 15%, so not ideal, but NFT volume up on last quarter, but $0.6 million, $600,000, down from sort of Q4 and Q1 Q4 last year and Q1 this year. So again, not ideal, and still sort of way below Solana. So yeah, not particularly good, but I guess Solana was also down on a lot of these metrics. So I guess with all those reduced numbers, the quarterly revenue is down as well, 30% to sort of $500,000 in a quarter. But the treasury balance, so it seems like they don't dump a huge amount of their tokens. Treasury balance just continues up and up, 1.4 billion Cardano, and yeah, in dollars, 347 million, because the token price sort of dropped a little bit. So yeah, they do have an awful lot on the books. Yeah, so this is a stat I didn't think they gave for Solana, the transaction per address ratio, which is sort of continually going up and has gone up 23% this quarter. So that's the biggest rise. So more the people that are using it, even if it is less people, are using it a lot more, which I guess is a bit of a mixed bag. You probably hope for both to be up, especially in a bull market, but maybe we're not quite there yet, and it could sort of carry on up. Nakamoto coefficient as well, the sort of benchmark for decentralization, has come down a little bit from previous quarter, but it's at 34, which is one of the highest of most coins, really. It's something that Solana sort of boasts, and they're, I believe, at 29. So they've only really introduced this last quarter, and yeah, they're sort of one of the top, so that's good. So the drop in transactions was mainly because of a drop from MinSwap. Basically means people are trading less. They are an automated market maker. So yeah, sort of people trading less and less sort of fees going through and that sort of thing. Not the end of the world. I'm sure that can potentially come back. So their closing summary, interoperability and core infrastructure both accelerated in Q3. WAN chain connected Cardano to top networks and assets. EVM contracts accessible directly from Cardano wallets, so a bit more linking up to Ethereum. That's pretty good. I must admit, I don't sort of really keep as up to date on their sort of developments and technology. Obviously, it's not an area that I understand too much. I tend to sort of focus on their numbers and sort of think if the new developments and new technology on there do well, then it'll be sort of borne out in the numbers. Obviously, if you understand the tech a little bit better, you may be able to sort of see that in advance. But yeah, I think obviously I'm still ahead of the vast majority of people because I'm at least sort of looking at the numbers. But yeah, it's they're talking about sort of DeFi potentially doing well. They're a sort of fairly small player in DeFi, but there's always potential to grow. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on their reports. So just looking at the coins for the week, it's not particularly broad gain. It's a bit of a mixed bag, really. Bitcoin up 0.7%, so that's not really providing too much of the gain. Ethereum up 3.4%, so it's having a sort of slightly outperforming week where it's been sort of fairly poor recently. But Solana, with their sort of Breakpoint conference, it seems, and the sort of Fire Dancer client now sort of live on testnet. That's providing a lot of bullish sort of sentiment, it seems, up 27% for the week. So that has provided most of the gain. Chainlink nearly touching £10. That's up 9% for the week. Cardano, 11.6%, not too bad. XRP 11.3%. Power Ledger's down 11%. That is very sort of volatile coin, so I sort of give it that. Polygon up 6.7%. Audius up 4.8%. Quant down 6%. That's a bit disappointing, but again, that seems to sort of be up and down different to the rest most of the time. Basic Attention Token up 4%, Gala up 7.6%, and then VeChain 3.7%, Internet Computer 6.8%. So I am kind of leaving these sort of smaller tokens just to, yeah, see where they go really. I'd sort of thought about selling them off and putting it sort of into stocks or options, but yeah, if we are starting to get a bit more bullish momentum, potentially the Bitcoin ETF at long last, I think I can wait sort of a couple of months and sort of see where these smaller tokens go. But yeah, see what happens. So leave your thoughts in comments below and like and subscribe. See you soon.